Chaudhury today for today's session on I'm sorry, mind on our today's session on navigating government audit framework. So a brief profile, Sumanji, who is very known to us. He's a FCA, DISA, LLB, MBA, MCOM, and BCom, who has also completed certified course on concurrent audit of banks from the institute. He was currently special invitee by institute in Committee on Public and Government Financial Management in financial year 22-23 and 24-25. He is the guest faculty of Administrative Training Institute, Government of West Bengal, Regional Training Institute, CAG, National Institute of Technical Teachers Training and Research, Kolkata, and a faculty identified through FIP of Indirect Taxes Committee of ICAI for GST for Eastern Region. He is a practicing chartered accountant since 2011 and is currently a partner of Chaudhury Devnath and Associates. He has served the EIRC of ICAI as co-opted member of various committees in the last 10 years and was co-opted member of the PDC of EIRC of ICAI and Committee on Public and Government Financial Management. He was past president of the Institute of Internal Auditors, Calcutta chapter, and Rotary Club of Salt Lake, Calcutta. He was a member of the steering committee of CCCBA 1993 to 1996, cultural secretary and vice president of CCCBA in 1994 and 95, and 95-96 respectively, and the deputy convener of Salt Lake City Chartered Accountant Study Circle EIRC of ICAI 2018 and 19. He is an executive committee member of Salt Lake City Chartered Accountants Association, convener of Bidhannagar Chartered Accountants Study Circle EIRC of ICAI, president of the Accountants Library, vice president of Tambuli Mamela, member of Outfit Club and Newtown Business Club. He has a vast experience and has worked as accounts and finance coordinator of municipality under Kolkata Urban Services for the Poor under Municipal Affairs Government of West Bengal, a project funded by DFID UK from March 2005. He was designated as Information Manager for BSUP, Basic Service for Urban Poor, is a project under JNNURM, a central government project on municipality. He had completed his articleship from Sen and Rai Associates. He is also a regular speaker in various forums of the Institute and the Institute of Internal Auditors, Calcutta chapter. So, sir, over to you for enlightening us on our today's topic. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, the Jishnudeb, who is currently the convener of Kolkata Accountants Library. Thank you for the brief introductions. And I'll thank the chairman EIRC, Vishnu Tulsianji, for arranging this type of innovative PCMs known to be as the Golden Charcha. And I think this is around, they have already been in the completion of 100 numbers of Golden Charcha. And the days you already know that it has been fixed by them to have the programs on certain days as Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I see Sumanchodi taking I have got the opportunity to talk on the subject which Vishnu has already told. One thing I want to have a pardon from you all because I am traveling. So it may happen that on sharing the slide, it may happen some of the occur some problem in networking problems or something. Please excuse me for that because I have to travel for certain emergency purpose. So I'll go through, take you through this today's topic as much as possible on my side that you have a brief idea. So if anyone responds from the in the audience side, so if they are not made audible, then they can write in the group that this is the thing that they are audible. I think anyone who can say that am I audible properly? Anyone?
Yes,
Anyone you
you
can?
are audible. You are properly audible.
All
Please
right, all
carry on.
right. Thank you very much. It would have been a great session if it had been an interactive one. But though in virtual it is a one-way talking on the subject, I'll also take the opportunity to give you a brief idea of the what you know about government accounting, and what do you think about what is the government accounting? Whether this government accounting is a cup of tea of a chartered accountant like us, or it is a thing of a big firms. No, when we are talking about government accounting, we are already doing government accounting. If we go through the way we are doing for banks, they are also government organizations. For the government PSUs, we are doing audit, so these are also coming under government ambit, though it may happen that small firms like us think that it is PSU's audits are for because the ball or together another ball game. So the scenario is not that so. So so I can let me try with it. I can show you the PPT through my presentation, my PPT through the phone. I'm trying it. If not, I'll go through by slide, so that it can get you help, and then I'll share with EIRC the entire PPT, uh, or you can, Vishnu, if you are there,
Of course, I am there.
yeah. So I can share my PPT also to you. Uh,
No, but problem is I cannot.
so
I
you
was
are
just
also in a
checking the
phone, huh?
option.
All right,
Yeah, I am
you
on
are also
my
in a phone.
phone and I could not share.
All
Just
right.
checking that
Okay.
option. Okay.
Okay. Sorry. So let us see that I get you through the pathway of the entire session of today's session. Basically, government audits, we have to have our own caps in different, wear different types of caps. Not only we think that we are of the auditor side, it is not that we always be on the, we be on the auditor, but also some of the times we have to be consultant, we have to be accountant. So there are four angles of any government organizations where chartered accountant have a role to play. You have been knowing that the ICI has already started a pilot project with the rail, that is Ministry of Railways, and it had already done a successful railway project with government of India. But that due to some other reasons, there may be some hitches that not it not shown as the fruitful result as it were to win. One declaration I want to make that as per their, as per the 74th amendment, there are three tiers of government. One is, as I oftenly say, is Sarkar 1, Sarkar 2, and Sarkar 3. But in the right way, it is the central government at the highest level, then the state government and the urban local bodies, and the panchayat and the municipalities, corporations. So it is always, these are the three government sectors. Basically, when we think that we will be doing major job, so in our purview, it may happen that we are doing at the panchayat and the municipal levels at our own capacities or all our tenders getting on, getting out. But state governments, there are state government PSUs, there are central government PSUs where chartered accountant like us have has a major role to play. Either you work with them as a consultant, you work with them as a solicitor to preparation of the accounting system. To be very precise, Government of India and Government of West Bengal are preparing cash-based budget-based control system accounts, and till today they have not converted their accounts into double entry accrual system. They are maintaining double entry system but on cash basis. So it is basically on record is a single entry cash basis system, but their entire control is kept as far the cash flow is concerned. So their budget is prepared, and on the entire all the overall things they keep anything under control through budgeting, and this is the way they all happens to do the things on the side. So on the other gate, so in a government types of organizations, so our job, when I am today's topic, particularly navigating government audit uh, from compliance, government audit, and framework. Why compliance matter if for a practicing CA? So whenever we know that whatever jobs comes to us, it is regarding major of the jobs comes as a compliance for a practicing CA. Many of the CAs may be involved in preparing the TDS returns, maybe GST returns, and maybe PF returns, maybe ESI returns, and henceforth and henceforth may also be maybe in the way of processing of preparing their their income tax returns of the urban local bodies, panchayat, and so on and so forth. Even there may be staffs which they are acting as a compliance for the staffs also. So whenever a job is given to a CA, one of the allotment which has been given to a chartered accountant is that is of a compliance is regarding all the thing. One thing you have to understand that in case of any government organizations, whether it is governed by the central government, whether it is governed by the state government, or it is governed by the urban local body panchayats. The major hook is that the these are all about public money. When public money is involved, it becomes a uh, highlighting scrutiny entity. Means in central government and state government, it is not on our side that we can prepare audit the accounts. It is always the audit is the purview of a CAG. Here we have to understand what CAG's role is to there and why and what as a CA our role is there. So so as a internal auditor perspective, there is a huge scope and we regularly do these types of internal audit in government sectors. And in government sectors, our reports must be very good drafted, very properly drafted, and highlighted that we can save our own scheme because in government sector, as it is a public money dealings, anything which goes against the principle and policy of the fund giving authority, it gets highlighted in the newspaper or in the public forum. So whenever we handle any of these type of organization, we should our reports should influence budget decisions, grant release and sanction, and also administrative and disciplinary actions. So this is in our report. If setting the report we prepare as a consultant or as an influencer or as a helper to prepare their budget. So any of the decisions we give, it 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 also gets affected in the budget decision. Many of the time, other organizations like colleges, schools receive grants as good as when urban local bodies gives a grant, even university receives grants. In many of our CAs, there are a huge number of certificate for grant utilization in different authority, whether it is administrative, whether it is education sector, whether it is health sector. Many of the time we have to, even for the NGOs, even for the non-profit medical organizations, there are funds which are coming in, and we have to give our grant release and sanctions report whether the grant has been properly sanctioned and they have disbursed it for the proper purpose for which the grants were been released. And also many of the times in government sectors you'll find that there is a financial barrier for signing off or passing off any bill or any voucher in a government organizations or in a big organizations. You first have to you should go through and know which are the persons who have the authority in administrative as well as financial thing. Because in any of the organizations, whether it's PWD, whether it's urban local body, whether it's for uh, health hospitals, universities, you'll find that they are calling tenders for crores of rupees. So you have to give your compliance report or your findings about the whether the tender was in proper manner, whether the tender was called, what are the rules and regulations, bylaws, whether proper persons were authorized, was authorized to open the seal tender, whether the allocations of the job was given to the L1 person. If not, what was the proper reason for which it was not given to the L1? So any report, any type of organizations where there are been tender given, it is not only the financial accuracy of the schedules or financial more than above. It is above the policy, above the financial authority under which the tender was called upon, opened upon, and the tender was therefore published. So this is one of the major area where many of the CS think that it is a financial thing. Our jobs start when the payment has been made. So in a government organization, there is a administrative part also, even recruitment of staff, recruitment, purchasing of daily items, other these are also coming under our administrative report. Say for there is another type of budget expenditure. Some is called upon the tied expenditure, and some are called as the untied fund. So, as in our commercial times terms, we know two types of uh, payments, whether it is a capital or it is revenue. But in government sector, you will come upon this type of term which is called tied fund or untied fund. So for this, we have to understand what is tied fund, or what do you know about tied fund? For tied fund, it is that the government has said very clearly and what are the purpose, and it has fixed point. Like for example, government has given 5 crores of rupees for building a building for the health purpose. So it is not that the payment was made for a building. We have to also see whether the payment was made for the health department. Means you may have different department and you have made lying with so much amount of fund which you cannot build anything which we utilize for the proper department. So for tight fund, you have to look into it whenever you're giving your report, whether utilization certificate, internal audit report, or it may be investigation audit report. Many of the times we think that we are the persons who have no authority to go into it, but whenever CAG can empower you to go through and give the investigation report, investigation report. Yeah, I think somebody is speaking. Anything? No. So yeah. So it is that you have to, for investigation report, you must have a forensic red flag. Right? Jishnu, can you keep your mic in this mute mode?
Sorry, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So, so, so as per the government organizations or government funding, you will find that there is a concept uh, called concept called tight fund. For this tight fund, you must be rigorous, you must be very careful and very sincere in going through to find whether not only financial payments, see that the payment, the tender was proper, even the administrative parameters, even the signing authorities, and all the procedure content. And for non, what if we do not look properly into it? What are the risks involved if we give a general? Many of our practice that whenever a teacher comes says that we have received if 1 lakh 2 lakh fund, and sir we have made a check and made the payment of the check. So do one thing. So you do one thing, you see that this amount has been made, a check payment was made, and entire money was utilized. So and the amount was, you was check was been issued, so you have been told that sir I have issued the check, that person has taken the check, that person has not deposited the check. Now, so yeah, so they will say sir these are all small amount, but first see that if you do not report anything which is adverse when you are doing internal audit or CG audit, it is a huge risk to us. And also you have to see whether you have to you have the proper recovery, surcharge, penalties properly applied, and it has been realized. Because if there is certain power, administrative power, to really to realize some amount of uh, taxes, surcharge, penalties, and you have not properly mentioned that they are not, they has a cap, administrative wise, financial wise, for collections of this for collection of this advance, or the collections of these recovery taxes. So this is also a risk, and professional risk of CA is that it whenever it is regarded to when it is regarded as a CA to sign any balance sheet or sign any of the financial statement, if there is a lack or there is a risk of a breach of trust upon the people and on the reputation or disciplinary and reputational risks is there. Short compliance culture is that if you give a strong compliance, it will be lower your risks and give better client relationship. Don't think that if you give a good report, you will be known as a good auditor. No, it is not always that, because the purpose for which you have been given the internal audit or the investigation audit or some compliance authority, you have to be more sincere, because here again I repeat, it is you are dealing with the public money. So what are the types of government audits where CAs can fit in? So these are a combination of constitutional and statutory provision, financial rule, manual, code preparations, that come at that you are preparing a SOP of a under the statutory provisions. So for preparing of the SOPs or TO term of reference TOR, so this preparation of these things helps you in finding out a place you in this case of a government accounting. Then many of the times, whenever small organizations, small bodies is formed or is under any government authority, they take help of us as to financial rule preparations, manuals, codes, even implementations of accounting policy. Then many of the times they ask, so what are the code we have to maintain. Then this in the there are institutional CAG and department internal audit treasury AG offices. So there are many scopes in this area, and if we go through the entire process where in a government organization, anything when it comes from the budgeting, allocations, expenditure, reporting, audit, and follow up. Now you'll say, sir, audit. If you are giving an audit report, say you are giving an internal audit report. So in the next quarter or in next month, when you are giving the audit report, think that you are making a value addition to the client. So it is not that you report the same thing, rupees one, or the wording only was not there in the voucher, or this person has not put his stamp. You have to find out whether there is any breach of trust for this trust when preparing this voucher. But whenever they are reported, you see whether this has been complied in the next report. You have to, in case of all the internal audit or any type of audit in a government organization, there is a process where you say there would be an exit meeting. So any point you have raised that these are the issues where this comes as a non-proper thing for the organizations. In the exit meeting, you say these are the points you discuss, and which are the points they say that they have agreed upon, and they will rectify it. It is your responsibility to look into it. That in the next period, you come as internal auditor, you see that these are all been done, and these have been rectified and followed. So these are the types of audit you are carrying on, and other this type of, I have given the pointers. What are the types? This is the financial one. This clarifies true and fair compliance with the applicable accounting framework. Where this is done in the PSUs. It is all the state government PSUs and the central government PSUs. Even a trust or a society formed under the power given to the state government or the central government, any author any employer related trust which where government money government employees money comes into and plays a better role for as the financial audit, which clarify that to give the financial report the true and fair view with applicable accounting framework. So, so these are the scopes. It is a myth that a CA cannot do a statutory audit for a government organization. Even for the PSUs, here the CAG or the AG act as internal auditors or as a concurrent auditors. Here, as a CA, you are signing the balance sheet for true and fair view, or you are having a financial audit. See, be very careful. Look upon your appointment because see the scope of your work. If you are being appointed as a financial auditor, you will give a true and fair view based on the reports and accounts prepared by them, based on the accounts prepared, financial statement prepared by the organizations. Then come the compliance audit. Even many of the time, the compliance audit are being allotted. Here you have to see whether your scopes is say to reply to report upon what are the compliance it has been made and what are the compliance it has not been made. Then the performance audit. Now it is nowadays it has become a hot topic before because performance based funding is going to be is being disbursed by the central as with the state government, because here if your organization has to be performing well, then only our objective is to see whether the three E's are properly maintained. One is economy, and one is efficiency, and one is effectiveness. So in performance audit, these are the key words. These are the three E's we must keep our mind and prepare our audit report. IT and system audit, you know that right now they had become a part and parcel. IT has become a part and parcel of everybody's life. So we cannot keep IT audit or IT system audit so outside the purview of our audit scope. There are special investigations audit also. So there are other scopes as top level work as constitution, appropriate financial act drafting, financial responsibility, financial law drafting. Even the rules and manuals depending on the entity, financial rule drafting, treasury rule drafting, procedure rules and manual drafting, service logo and HR rule manual preparation. Entry level works are there, act, bylaws, memorandum and articles, and government audits first years always map observation to a specific rule, section or clause. Means you have as like in case of a company act, you are governed by one act. For taking example of the state of West Bengal, for you doing a urban local body audit, even they have multiple act and rules, even for financial act and rules. Say for Calcutta Corporation, only for Calcutta Corporation it has a own act and rules, financial act and rules, which is not applicable to other corporations. So there is West Bengal Corporation Act where it deals with the corporation which does not have its own act to deal with, and even urban local bodies, they have separate for other local bodies and they have separate for other organizations also. So, so institutional role is a major role in the audit ecosystem. So we have to go through and see the act rules, the legislator, and also the what is the scope for which we are going to do the audit. So if there are many types of institutions where we have to go through it and see whether they are in a way that it complies to. So now is the legal and regulatory pillars. There are four regulatory pillars: the top level rules and manuals, entity level instruments and the levels for CAs. And now we'll come to the internal control and slice of defense. This is the internal audit is a huge chunk of audit which comes to CAs in a profession. So for that, we have to go into look into the internal control and what is the first line of defense for us that what that this is not we are not being penalized for that. For that, for that issues for that issues, there are delegations of financial power. See clear limits for proposal or approval of works purchased in advance. We have to go through and see whether delegation of financial powers have been properly dealt with. Then another point is budgetary control. So budgetary control, we have to see whether the no expenditure without the sanction of the budget has been made made. And there are certain process control and SOPs. So receives payment, grant payments, stores, assets, all these are covered under the Rule Act and many of the times through SOPs. So we have to go through the SOPs which are being maintained in the organization and prepare our report. There are system controls, password access, maker checker in software. These are also things to be reported by us. There are other aspects like the monitoring controls, reconciling, expectations report, review meetings, etc. Events like a company accounts, we go through the board meetings, we go to the annual meetings. But in also is been a power when we have to see when we have to see whether the monitoring controls are there, like reconciliation acts as a act as a acts as a reconciliation is a major area we have to see. For example, if payment which has been not been made or twice been made may be hidden through the reconciliation statement, or fake creditors or debtors many of the times may be created. There are ghost salary pensioners. This is the area where you can see before the KYC or the Aadhaar. It was a common phenomenon that has been a ghost pension holders. So so we have to do our audit. So next step, I'll go into the next theme, that is we have to be risk based audit in government context. What is it? Make 100% voucher checking to risk focused approach. We have to see which are the risk area. See, if you are taking a bank credit, it is not possible to vouch 100%. But it is not that you adaptively choose the voucher. So here, each customer, each client, each transaction is tagged with the risk factors. So you have to find whether when you are doing an audit, it is not always 100%, but 100% highest risk focus should be considered. And so, what are the steps of a practicing CA to be made when they are going for an audit in an organizations or government sectors? So, they must understand the entity's activity and funding pattern. This is the first and foremost importance, that you properly understand entities, activities, and funding pattern. Then identify the areas high risks like cash, procurement, grants, contract, revenue leakages. So these are the area which you identified as the high risks. Then prepares matrix, likelihood versus impact. Means if you say there is a risky propositions where the amount is 5 rupees, so it may be a risky, but the amount which amount, this is not a material amount. But many of the times, if it is repeated in nature, you have to see that the audit that the repeated in nature, you can find the summary of the entire expenditure made may be broken into multiple factors, small amounts. So you have to apply your own mind to see how to observe this type of performance of the organizations, and you have to prioritize audit time for high risk areas, because you will not get, there is a huge engine, and you have to know in which part you have to go deep into to find the red flag. And that if you go through this process, the outcome will be better value to client, more insightful observations, and efficient use of CA team you have. So what is basically the life audit life cycle for CAs? Engagement and planning. From the starting of the period of engagement later, many of the times it has been seen that in a tender procedure, many of the tenders are being accepted or quoted at a very low price, because they do not understand their scope of work. Many they think that they are going to give a fund, only a audit of a fund, like we are doing a audit of a Durga Puja organizations or a club. But they have to see that for any LUBs, urban local bodies or panchayat, there are 18 functions. For each functions, you have to give a detailed report, because if you don't go and report it properly, next, your audit is not the final audit. The next audit comes the CAG audit. If anything, when the CAG finds it to be very risky, and thinks that the entire work was been done very amateur wise, it has no other option but to report it to the institute. Net is the, you have to draw a proper timeline within which you have to do, and study past audit report and measure parallels. If you are not going through, there may be multiple types of audit. In banks, you see there are RBI audit, there are inspection audit, there may be SEBI audit. Even for urban local bodies who issues bond, there can be SEBI audit, their CAG is compulsory. So these are the areas where you will find that there you have missed out. So these are the most risky one. So you have to primarily have the risk assessment. After getting the job, many of these government organizations make a pre-audit visit or pre-audit meeting. Try to find out what actually we have to do. It is not that a worrying internal audit, it's not at a financial audit, but is investigation audit. To what are the amount of vouchers involved, what is the amount of fund involved, what is the amount of function is involved. So you have to make a primary risk assessment. Then you have to the field work and testing. It is not a report which you are sitting at the home and writing a report. It is always about working on the field and then testing the data which you want to see. You have to find files, you have to find registers, you have the system log, physical verifications, and vouching. It is not about physical verifications of only the cash value. There may be other bond issues, or there may be other types of security deposit which are been lying with them as a part of the earnest money of of any of the tender going on. So it is all the asset, it is a asset, it is the construction site, it is the raw material, it is the construction materials, all come under it. And discussion on draft findings. Exit meeting is a must with the manager, with the management, and obtaining proper reply. It may happen that you have not understood the procedure for which the management was appointed you, and you have gone through a report which is not in a proper manner. So, and your report should be clear, concise report with prioritized recommendation. It is not as general. I gone through the vouchers, 1,000 vouchers, out of which two vouchers are not found of an amount of ₹5, which has been paid for the labor charges. So, not this type of silly recommendation. It should be clear what you want to say. Or if you see there is a risky area, there is a leakage, there is a process like in government sectors, the procedure is that you would any amount you received as cash, you have to deposit that cash in the next financial day. But in many of the times, it has been seen that they are not depositing and they are disbursing with the expenditure which have to be done to them. So it has been very clear to us that we have to go through it, and we have to do the audit works. So, in case your report should be in that way, and follow up and compliance report should be not done. And the common compliance gaps observed by the C is that deviating from the tender or procedure route. Very importantly, you go through the tender rule, you through the procurement rule, and splitting of purchases to avoid tender limits. That it is said that any tender which is about 1 lakh has to be deposited, has to be routed through E tenders. You will find a work order up to which 10 lakh has been split into 99, 95, 98, so that you can avoid that they can avoid the tender online. But you have to see, if you apply your mind, you can always see that they are trying to split a purchase or tender to avoid tender limits. So this should be reported. Non-maintenance of asset register, run project register, contractor security deposit register. These are the common things you will find. Delay or non-deposit of TDS, GST, statutory deductions, non-reconciliation of bank, treasury, repeated audit paras, many long-standing report in the banks in the reconciliation. So these are the things. So essential to protect both the client and the auditor is the documentation and working papers, because in government sectors one person will come and one person will go. So there are multiple circulars, there are multiple office orders. So be very particular about any of the to protect yourself and as a auditor, and also to gain faith on the client auditor. So you must document all the things properly. Pre-working papers like audit programs and risk assessment, sample selection basis, copy of key orders, sanctions contract, circulation sheet, reconciliation, management representation, minutes of discussion. These are to be taken and kept. Good working paper will ease reference for next year. Strong defense it will issue to arise anything. Make the another next I'll road to making entities audit ready, value added for CS. Every recent days everybody is going to find out what are the benefits we are going to get. If not, so ensure timely completion of the books is a time, because nowadays even the government is working on the real time online real time basis method. So simple checklist and SOPs for routine procedure. So we have to design simple, we have to own checklist for SOPs for the organizations to help them do it for properly the system. Ensure timely closure of books and schedules, reconciliation of bank and cash, grant received and utilized, statutory dues deduction, wasted deposit, properly timely return filing, matching of the return with the amount of tax deposited, matching with the reconciliation of the amount to be deducted in the process and then deposited, and preparation and review, utilization certificate, notes to accounts, management representation letters, and train client staff on common compliance mistakes. So their institute has taken a role. For urban local bodies, the staff strength is not so at a good length. They are not so educated. So ICI combined with with the CAG has formed an company, an organization from where they are now issuing certificate for any class 12 pass out, and they have to appear separate papers for separate. If they are in a panchayat, they have to give panchayat working panchayat examinations, and this is a quietly framed, easily framed in regional language. I want to say, have the opportunity to convert one of the two of the report this study material, one for panchayat and one for urban local bodies in Bengal ordinary, which is helpful for the people, the students who are here from this year. So yeah, there are many case studies. You can customize your scenario audit of a municipal or local bodies. Works awarded through a prior tender, large cash balance, and unreconciled grant received. These are all repeated in nature. So this will what they will help. So this will help them to grow in the organizations and to have a fewer audit observation in the next circle, faster release of other grants, better financial discipline, because now the objective of the central government is to take a financial discipline, put an effective financial discipline in all the organizations. And for this, now the fund, previously it used to release funds, now they are releasing a notifications and a virtual fund. For that, if you are not utilizing it in the regulated date or the declared date, the amount is a virtual amount. It will getting vanish in a proper date. So it was not that the amount has come to your bank. Now you are the custodian of the amount, and until you issue a check, the amount will not be going out. It is not the scenario. The amount will be going out, but will be vanished, or the government which has issued the fund will take it back. So I think we are at the end of the my deliberations. So will give you a quick run to the key takeaway for the practice is here. Government audit framework are structured and rule driven. Learn the key rule. If you are being audited for any of the government organizations, ask for the act, ask for the rules. If you are not means not familiar with the act's rules, your audit report will be in a bad shape. You'll even not know what are the areas which you have to report. So first of all, before accepting any assignment, say for the government, you will be or panchayat, go through the rules and the act. l- l- Go through once that you can have a brief idea. For details, when you go and do the work, you will gradually get the experience. As I am for the last 20 years, I'm in the same field, so I can gather the expertise in types of the things. So it is not a very hard task, but there is a shifting for the usual type of audit, because in we have been habituated or seeing balance sheet audit, company type of audit, partnership type or T forms of audit report. But it is basically in government sector you'll find is a code base. Yeah, these accounts are always a code base, so you have to go through it. And so for compliance in critical for, because it is public money and you have to earn public trust, clients continuity of funding, auditors professional safety, these are the compliance why it is very required. Risk-based approach plus strong documentation is a better quality audit. CS can significantly improve governance by highlighting the non-compliance clearly, offering practical implementable solutions. Compliance is not a burden; it is a practical practice builder. So, so I'll have some 5 or 7 minutes for the question and answer. So it is over to Jisnu or anyone coordinating.
Yes. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jumanda.
So, hmm.
Does anybody from the audience have a question? You may please ask us.
You can write in your chat box, I think.
Yes. We also that is. I think there is one.
One chat box question, I think.
Oh, but it is not a
No,
question.
no, it is a membership number only.
I
I think
think
he is
it is
paying
not a.
for
Sir, let us
uh,
be clear. This is not a CP program.
CP.
You will not get CP hours.
No, CP, but that is not, you will not get structured CP, but you can use as
So,
an
no
unstructured
need.
CP.
Yeah, you will get
So you can
unstructured CP, but that
you
you have to
can
upload
oh,
yourself to the
yes, sir.
portal.
Yes,
So
yes.
no point in sharing the membership
Then
number
that
over
not
here.
able to work.
Yeah.
So if there is no other questions, I would say that you go through in a later time, or now after this January, February, March, you may have little much of times. Go through all the act which is applicable for the state. Then you can go through the act which is applicable for the state. Give a quick review of the things that if
Mm.
any tender comes on, do not quote it that type of amount which will be very funny for them. Recently, a urban local bodies audit observer internal audit assignment was being quoted at the rate of 15,000, where normally it was quoting at 1,50,000. This year, eventually some of the firms have quoted a 15,000 price. Now they come and see what the volume is, because it's at 18 functions, it's 18 department which individually they want you to report. Now, if your report is about the true and fair view, then they say I do not want this report as a true and fair view. So this is the takeaway. You must learn, and institute is also trying to have a handbook for the internal audit, and which I and Nirmal Chakraborty is working upon to come up with a publications for the members, which gives them an idea whatever the points that has been included or done in case you are doing for a urban local body or panchayat as a panchayat. So with this, I'll thanks the coordinator of the session, Vishnu Mukherjee sir ji, for staying for the entire season with us, entire period with us, and also I'm thanks for the participants who have taken the time out of the busy schedule to come and hear about the new avenues, which the institute is working. Like institute is now working with the ADB Bank, working with the World Bank to come out a handbook to how to prepare a project report, how to audit a project report, how to collaborate with the ADB Bank, how to work jointly with the World Bank. So with this, I take a leave. Good day and good night. Thank you, Jisnu.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Shumanda.
And
Thank you very
also
much.
thanks EIRC staffs which are there to preparing
And
these
thank
links
you
and
all the
everything.
EIRC staff and Sri Vishnu Tulshanji
Of
for
course.
this opportunity. Wonderful
Uh,
session.
uh,
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Have a good night today.
Um,